All right, we are back and we are live, people. And tonight we're talking with Jay Hill again. He was a guest last year with us, and he's been up to a lot of stuff, I guess, since last time we talked to him. Uh-oh. It looks like we lost him. But when he pops back in, there he is. I'll ask him a few questions and we'll get going.
Sorry, I actually hit the wrong button.
And it happens, man. It
Yeah.
happens. So, you've been up to a lot of stuff since we last talked to you, right?
Yeah,
You
I
started
have.
you started something new for yourself. You
Yep.
want to talk about it?
Yeah, I started my own podcast, Studio 6 Paranormal Podcast. Um, yeah, I started that shortly after our interview. I think it was in March, wasn't it? Or February. I'm not sure, but um, yeah, I decided that I really liked it and thought I wanted to do it, and
Cool.
didn't really know how to start it. So I just kind of sat on my hands about it, and then one day I saw this ad on the Buzz Radio website about somebody asking for a co-host for a new paranormal podcast. And I thought, "Hey, that looks pretty cool. I could probably do that. So I reached out to this guy, Shane Feek, and come down to him saying, well, yeah, I'm looking for a co-host, but actually I want to be a co-host. I'm looking for a host. And I'm like, oh. So yeah, and the way he tells the story is funny too. He's like, yeah, I just kind of threw it in his lap and he ran with it. So which is what I did. And I thought, okay, since I was, creative control of a lot of the things, pretty much everything, and I just designed I had a friend of mine design the logo, and then I kind of ran with it and then added my own to it and then created the page and started lining up guests. And I've had some fantastic guests on. And I can't even believe I got some of the guests that I did get, but I did, and they were fantastic. And, I decided that I wanted to, well, let me start by saying that my wife was not really a big fan of this. She doesn't like the paranormal stuff, and so I think she kind of humors me. But and also, me being a psychic medium, she also humors me. But when I told her that I wanted to do that, I don't know if she took me serious. But then when I said that I kind of wanted to do it out of our bedroom, she didn't quite like that. So I was like, crap. I'm like, where the hell am I gonna, where am I gonna do this? And it just so happens that her one of her coworkers that she worked at the bank works at the Maxwell Mansion in Lake Geneva. And I talked to him, and then I'm like, yeah, I'd really like to, investigate here again when we did last year and this and that. I ran into something just told me, why don't you just go talk to the owners? Because I was friends with the new owners. And I just went there one day and walked up to her and said, hey, do you think I could do a podcast here? And she was like, sure. Uh, wherever you want to do it. And I thought, okay. And then she was like, well, we could set you up in the office upstairs, which used to be an old, like a bedroom, hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
And so I procured all the equipment and all the stuff that I needed. And I would set up my equipment every Sunday. And then, it just started gelling that way. And my wife was very happy that I wasn't doing it at home. So, but yeah, so it started to gel that way. And then they remodeled the upstairs office, and they gave me my own spot. I was able to set up my equipment and leave it up
Cool.
and have my own desk and my whole, 2 monitors, a whole 9 yards. And all I got to do when I go do my show is just turn it on. So that was a blessing, and me knowing and contacting some of the spirits that were there and some of the communication that I've done. It's been really a blessing. I'm welcomed every time I go there. I always try to communicate with the spirits that are there. A couple kids that are there. And then when I started doing the show and I had mediums on my show, they would validate everything that I had already known what was there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of cool. And actually had some activity with some of my equipment, some of my toys that I had set in the background when I would do my live sessions. And I did a couple spirit box sessions on there live with Paranormal in the Funhouse, and that went pretty well. And so so I've had really good success with that. So I'm actually blessed. So I just want to say thank you guys for kind of giving me that idea that hey, I might want to do this because this was really fun. So I give you a little bit of credit for that, because if I had never gone on a video podcast, I wouldn't know. So
well, thank you, because I'm glad that we could have been a little bit of an inspiration.
Yeah, you were actually. So it was it was crazy. I mean, it was basically, me doing this, me, thinking about it and then putting it into action. And when it actually happened, it was kind of a surreal moment. And
Well, it's funny how things start. It's really funny how things started. I
Mhm.
mean, how Mark and I got our start, it was a pretty messed up story to begin with, and the road that it took to get us to do the paranormal, it was a kind of a strange, interesting road, but it's been fun the whole time.
Right.
We were driving for like what was it, like a 3-hour drive?
I think it was about a 3-hour drive up to Athens here in Wisconsin.
Mark was playing chauffeur so that I could go get a new puppy, because
Yeah.
about a month before that, my dog Nitro passed away.
Mm.
And I was sitting in the front seat, and his girlfriend and my wife were sitting in the back, and we had them laughing in stitches. I mean, they were just, laughing their asses off, and we were just being ourselves.
Right.
Mark and I have known each other 25 plus years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they like, oh, we should have brought cameras. We should have recorded this. You guys should do something and put it up on YouTube and things like that. So that's how it got started. And we thought about it for a while, looked into it, and here we are. What is it? Almost 4 years later, 5 years.
About four, a little over 4 years later, I think it is.
But we started by pissing people off because we were talking politics.
Yeah, that's something I do not even discuss with anybody. Not on Facebook.
We don't do that. Yeah.
We did the taboo. We went politics and religion with it, and
I couldn't.
It just well, see, with me, I'm very passionate about religion and politics because
we got too carried away on a few things, and
so I have a tendency of really just irritating a lot of people when it comes to that. So they kind of blew up on us, so we just took a break and then revamped and went a different direction. And since I have a background in the paranormal, we went that way.
2019, we decided to do that. It's been a hell of a success ever since.
Right.
Getting more and more popular as it
been a lot of fun.
Right. And that a lot of it has to do with just the camaraderie that you guys have together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it. Like me and Shane, I've never met Shane in person, but I mean, because he lives in Michigan.
Right.
But I talk to him every once in a while, and I give him the information for the show, and he prepares himself a couple days before or whatever. And I was doing the promos because I just thought that was the right thing to do, and I was doing video promos, and then I realized that the video promos that I did were awesome. I love them, but they're very labor intrusive. You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
it was starting to affect a little bit of my home life, because I would do that on Thursday and every week or every other week, and it would just be, not spending family time together and this and that. So I had to kind of cut it down, and that's why I went to every other week on this season 2, because I wanted to be able to, kind of balance my home life as well as my, podcast. And, there had to have been some type of balance, because I was engulfed in getting as many guests and as many shows under my belt as I could. I realized that wasn't the way to do it, but I did it. I said, okay, I need to slow down a little bit. And so now we have, every other week, which Shane is my co-host. He's okay with that, because the fact that he's got family and he's got things to do, and he works a full-time job just like I do. So, he's, okay with it. And once in a while, like, I have a show this Sunday with Amanda Quill from Cold Spotters Paranormal. And then the next week I have a special guest, which I'm going to announce after that show. But I wasn't really planning on doing a show next week, but it's kind of happened that way, and kind of ran with it. And, I've got some shows in January as well. It's just, so things are coming together, and,
Sounds like
I've just got to pace myself, because I can't get carried away. Especially being passionate about paranormal and this and that. It's just like, sometimes I have to check myself. I can't keep go, because I also drive an hour away to work every day.
wow.
Oh wow.
That's
I got a 40-minute drive, so
yeah. So you're not too far behind me, so you can understand that. I drive an hour. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Living, Mark.
So
what was that, Joe?
I said you also drive for a living and enjoy it. So
yeah. I drive an hour. I drive 40 minutes to get to work.
Hour to work.
I drive 40 minutes to get to work, and then I drive all day long.
All right. Well, and that's kind of what I did too. I used to drive straight truck, and
that's what I do.
Two back and forth between our two buildings by Kenosha. So yeah, I liked it because I was able to get out of the building half the time. But so I've been doing that for 8 years. So yeah, actually that was right after 9 months after my stroke I had in 2013.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Just go with us. Strong.
I had a hole in my heart.
Ow.
And I drank a lot. Yeah, I drank a lot, and it just caught up with me. And I had a blood clot flew through my heart and went to my brain, and still sits there. It'll always be there. And so my neurons and all my blood passages had to go different directions. So yeah, I lost part of my speech, and I lost part of my movement and this and that. It took me 9 months with therapy to get back to where I was. And now you couldn't even tell if I ever had a stroke, because I worked hard to get back to where I was.
Oh, that's good. And very commendable to you that you put in that effort.
And some people don't realize how much when you go through hell like that, and that is going through hell.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it
stuff
is.
like that, and stuff what I went through, that puts your body through hell. And just to get back to somewhat normal is a lot of fucking work.
It is a lot of work.
I mean, I lived in a hospital for 2.5 years, man, and I had nurses bitching at me to get down to the exercise room because I had to learn how to walk all over again after what I
Yeah. I had to do speech therapy the whole 9 yards, and I hated
all that too.
Oh my God, I hated it because I had an extensive vocabulary. My mother was very educated, and she used big words, and my parents were older, and my mom went to college to be a psychologist, and So us kids grew up with my mother's, dialect of her language and all this other stuff. And so when I had the stroke, I lost a lot of my speech and a lot of, I lost a lot of some of my memory, which probably is a good thing because some things I did in my past I don't want to remember,
Yeah, but then you don't like
So
it. You're not going to like it if it comes back.
right. So I had to go back. I had to accept what happened. It was what it was. It happened for a reason.
Yeah.
And just move forward, and I'm living testimony that, through hard work and perseverance and being true to yourself and,
Having the will,
following your path. Everybody's on their own path,
Yep.
So
you got to have that will to survive.
that's right.
So yeah, the both of you then are living testimonies to that.
Yes,
Because,
yes, and I would
what
agree.
Joe had to go through.
Yeah,
So
I don't know if you knew that. I was diagnosed with leukemia back in '95, and
Oh yeah, I think you said that last time.
yeah,
Yep.
so,
Yep.
I still suffer some of the side effects, but I don't let it.
Yeah,
slow
I
me
have glitches every once in a while. I'll be talking to somebody and then kind of a simple word will come out and I won't, my brain won't comprehend it. And so I have to say it like 5 or 6 times to get the right pronunciation. But once in a blue moon, I
Okay.
mean, my wife's there pretty good to correct me, but to say, nope, it's said like this, and my brain will say, the hell it is. It says it like this, and it's just, but
Yep,
I do have
a lot.
hiccups every once in a while, so it's normal. I live with it.
Yeah, well, I think all of us have a
Adapt.
hiccup
We
every
all
now and
adapt.
then.
Yeah.
Part of living, you got to adapt.
Yeah.
So Jay, since you brought that up, I'm just kind of curious. Did you said that you're clairvoyant?
Mm-hmm.
Did that have anything to do with you becoming clairvoyant, or were you that way prior to it?
I was that way prior to it. It was the fact that I was running away from my gifts my whole life.
Okay.
And so with drugs and alcohol and, because my father was the same way. My father, I found out later, my father was gifted, but he kind of ran from it just like I did. I didn't know what was really happening to me because I had experienced the paranormal in different ways throughout my whole life. I've seen full body apparitions. I've been touched. I've been kicked. I've been punched. I've been talked to. I've been, the whole 9 yards. I never knew what that really was. I used to see visions when I was younger. I would go to a business or go to a home. Actually, I'll tell you a quick story. I was actually staying with a girl back in my 20s. I was dating a girl in Iowa, and we were looking for a new apartment. And there was something about this house that was an upstairs apartment. When I walked in, I could just feel this influx of energy, not knowing what it was. Walked into a bedroom and saw blood on the walls everywhere, and a little girl in a nightgown covered in blood huddled in the corner of the closet. And I saw flashes of that several different times and not realizing what that was. I thought it was my imagination or just whatever, but later I
Mhm.
found out that that was actually true. And I had experiences in that house or in that apartment. Didn't stay there long, but long story short, that's when I kind of knew something was going on. But I just kept drinking and I kept doing drugs. I didn't want to face what I was going through. And once I did, actually, probably after my stroke, um, I had different things happen here and there, but I was still, recovering and all this other stuff. And then
Mhm.
when I had my pancreas issues a couple years later, where I dealt with pancreatitis, where I had half of my pancreas removed because it was solid rock.
Damn.
Yeah, that was something. But and after that, after I got done after that surgery 2 years ago, and then it was like that next January, which would probably been like 19. Um, all these things started to come back. Things started to make more sense, and I was really just, yeah, I started trusting what I was seeing and what I was feeling, and then the doors kind of opened more, and then I had confirmation with some other mediums, and then I got with a mentor. I have Shauna Maria is my mentor from Minnesota, and I took a class, and she helped me very much, and so yeah, so right now that's kind of where I'm at. I'm still at that that continuing growing phase. I've helped quite a few people actually so
Yeah.
far, and it's just after I stopped running was when my gifts finally said, "Are you done?" You know, I mean
Well,
that's
yeah.
basically what it felt like. You know,
Like, you finally got the message, huh?
Well,
yeah,
I can kind of understand how you were feeling in the beginning whenever being young like that and not knowing exactly what was going on, nobody there
right,
to explain it to you, nobody to help you through it, and then of course turning to the drugs and alcohol that would most likely help suppress it and
yep.
put you on an avenue that would be able
I just,
to keep it
yeah,
at bay, keep your abilities at bay
yep,
and away from you and
yep.
like that,
It
because
was a very destructive path. Let's put it that way.
I destructive to you and others around you, most likely.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because when
I've been married 3 times. If that tells you
oh
anything.
wow,
Yeah. So,
so
so
yeah,
yeah.
what
So this is the third and last. My wife told me, she said that the only way you're getting out of this marriage is in a pine box, and I said okay.
You know,
So
pine copper, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
no, yeah. When I was younger, I had similar, but not. I didn't turn to any of the drugs or anything like that because my mother had those experiences as well. She was a clairvoyant,
right.
not a real um well
Active.
active clairvoyant, but she knew things.
Right.
She
Right.
could tell. She could tell you things.
Hmm.
Um, so I actually had that help there. I had that
Hmm.
support.
Right. Right.
So
And
and
that
then
support system is important.
oh
I
yeah, it is. It's very much so.
Well, Jay was talking there about his issues and stuff with the drinking and stuff. I wonder, I kind of had a theory and wonder, they get all these people that get diagnosed with what is it called? Schizophrenia.
Hmm.
They hear voices and stuff, right?
Right.
Or and a lot of them do the same thing, a lot of drinking or drugs to try to
Mm-hmm.
get that
Self
way.
medicated. Yeah.
Right.
Self medicate to train
Yep.
and tap it down.
Because the way the paranormal world and community and everything about it has just recently started to become a little bit more socially acceptable.
Yes.
Instead of saying you're fucking nuts, what you see is not
Right.
real, you're seeing things, you're stupid or whatever.
Right. Right.
What's to say that some of those people might not have actually
I
been
was
that?
just gonna say that probably a
And
third of those are not
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. No,
there-
you have a point. You have a good point there because yeah, I actually have a cousin. My mother's favorite nephew was very schizophrenic, and even though he tried to kill his father, um, he was on medication for a long time. You know, I'm not saying that schizophrenia and trying to downplay it or anything like that. It's just the fact that back in the day, remember when in the 50s and 40s and 50s and even before that, when those insane asylums were, sorry the pun, but the
yeah,
asylums
Okay.
were basically used for that, where they didn't know
Mm-hmm.
what was going on, or they thought it was schizophrenia,
yeah.
you know. I mean, they just didn't. And like you said, I think now it's been a little bit more socially acceptable. So um, a lot of people are curious to why people are actually like this.
Well,
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I
you
had an
know,
uncle. I was thinking about this because I had an uncle, and unfortunately, he was one of my favorite uncles of all time, and I spent a lot of time talking to him, and
mhm,
especially after he was diagnosed as paranoid schizophrenic, and he
right,
kept saying he was hearing voices. But I was just sitting here remembering some of the conversations I had. He was talking about Chris, his son,
mhm,
okay, which happened to, you know, um, he fell out of a tree and broke his neck. when he was
Wow.
before he even reached the age of 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
So, and then he was never able to have kids after that. But he wasn't always like this. It didn't happen until later in life when he was something just triggered it. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden, he just started hearing these voices. And a lot of times he would tell me Chris was talking to him.
Huh. Some people's gifts can come late.
Mhm.
Mine I've had my whole life, but I mean, it wasn't until late in my life that it actually started to flourish when I started accepting it and started listening. A lot of people experience clairvoyance like that in a different way, and I truly believe that everybody who has gifts don't necessarily share the same exact thing in the same way.
Thank you.
I think everybody is different.
Right.
You can have similar gifts, but your
Mhm.
experience and your concept of what it is
Right.
different. There's
Oh
Right.
yeah.
not, not everybody's an individual, especially when it comes
Mhm.
to their gift. And I truly believe that. So when I come across somebody else who's gifted and messages me and says, well, why is this happening? And why is this happening or that happening or whatever? And I try to explain it to him or them in a certain way that they understand. I said, that's part of your path. That's you, specifically for you only.
Right.
Mhm.
So it's up to you. You can't have anybody else tell you how to feel, how to see, how to do all this other stuff. That's something that you need to do yourself. There's a support group. I mean, people can help you, but it's almost like, trying to do your job and then you want to say, hey, you want to do my job for me? You know, you just, it doesn't work that way. You've got
Well,
to put in the time and got to put in
Yeah,
the
you
effort.
got to put
But
in the effort.
that's
and
how you
at
learn.
the
That's
same
how you
time,
grow. Yeah, the whole
it's
time.
you got to accept it as a gift.
Right,
Mhm.
First.
right. Instead of a curse, because
It's
there's
like being an alcoholic. You got to accept that you're an alcoholic before you can even get help.
right. There's a lot of people that think that it's a curse, and it's really not. I
No,
mean, if
it's
you have
not.
the right support team around you,
Mhm.
then yeah, it's not a curse. It's something that can be nurtured. It's something that can grow. But society today, there's still right now the world's upside down. So society today,
Very.
but yeah, it's not. It's accepting, but then there's probably just as many non-acceptance
Right.
people out
Used
there
to.
for that. So
Yeah. That's
me
always.
being me being a psychic medium, that's one of my fears because I'm afraid I'm going to run into a mob of these people, and my guides
I
tell
don't.
me, no, 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 don't worry
You're
about
not. You're
that.
not.
Right? So that's what I
My
worry about.
right. My spirit guide has told me several times that now that we're getting into the later, with getting into more of the 21st century and everything,
Hmm.
mankind is actually opening up more.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if you've
Everything's
heard
shifting.
I know that you speak with your spirit guides too,
Hmm.
right? Okay.
Yep.
Has any of them mentioned anything to you about what is called the Great Awakening?
Um, Not in that specific word phrase, but yes, I've heard this a couple different times that people are
Okay.
waking up. You know what I mean?
It's not
Um,
just the people, not just the older people, the more
no,
closed
no,
minded.
yeah,
It's
right,
the
yeah.
fact that the Great Awakening, what's happening now, a lot of the children that
Hmm.
are being born with this gift.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Or other gifts.
oh
And
yeah.
they are learning at younger ages about the paranormal and the spiritual world that we're going to be transmuting into.
Right, right. Well,
Oh,
and it goes back to it's almost like when people were preparing for World War II
Hmm.
and they had to do all this stuff to get everything ready for the actual event of when we first landed on foreign soil like that, when we were starting to,
Hmm.
to go against the evil of that. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, we are preparing ourselves as
Yep.
clairvoyants or as gifted people, as well as the new generation of gifted people, and it's a big preparation. So there's
Right.
going to be a lot
And that,
more popping up.
oh
You
yeah,
know.
and that's why the older generation that regardless of the level of your gift,
Hmm.
you need to be able to allow yourself to assist
Yep.
with anything that you can possibly help with.
Hmm.
Because once we finally get that transition going,
Right.
mankind is going to be completely transformed. We are
Right.
we are going to be
Right.
a complete different species than we are now.
Right. Right.
I think
And
what we're seeing in this world is the dying off of the old world of
yeah. Yeah.
the um, transitioning to the more enlightened and open minded
Right.
and understanding of
Right.
what is there for us.
Right. This transition that we're discussing right now has actually happened like 3 times before this.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
Oh,
yeah.
we've transitioned from what I'm hearing, it's 3 other times. So this is just um an enclave of another transition,
Mm-hmm.
which, that there's a
We
reason
we're
why. There's a reason why,
oh yeah, yeah.
There's always a
I mean,
reason.
we are growing. We're becoming more aware of
Yep.
of the realm we live in,
Right.
and
Self-aware.
how
Hmm.
right we're becoming more self aware, more aware of the environment and things around us. That's why
Hmm.
there's that big push to get us off of fossil fuels for one, because what we're
Right.
doing is basically killing ourselves in this planet.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And if we can get off of the fossil fuels and get into the renewables, I believe that things would be a little bit better at that point too.
We were just talking about disrupting nature and the way things were in the cycle of nature the other day,
Mm-hmm.
because we were discussing the I know this is off topic, but we do this once in a while. Those fucking bird cannons that I tell you about that they keep sending off out here. You know,
Yeah.
those things don't just chase away the birds, and I don't know why people do this. Doesn't make
They're
sense.
doing it
I moved out of
to
the country
protect
for
crops.
nature's music, and it's all gone. You know, but
Yeah.
it just chases away. It chases away everything, not just the birds.
Yeah.
There's no squirrels. There's no rabbits out here anymore.
Right.
There's nothing. It's complete silence. I don't even have birds making nests in the window
Right.
anymore.
Well, in talking about the kind of the awakening too, it's also when you talk about the like Mother Nature and Mother Earth and all that. This, from what I get and what I gather, is that the Earth is actually regenerating as well. I mean, this
Mhm.
is something that a lot of people need to pay attention. I'm not a climate change person. I'm not even in that conversation. What I talk about is somebody who respects the Earth and and appreciates the Earth for what it is. The planet will regenerate itself often.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's just, yeah, being a man being here, yeah, we've probably done some damage, but you know what? The Earth is big enough that I think that you know when the Indians said that they were all about Mother Earth, and I truly believe that the connection between Earth. When I see my connections are water and mountains. When I have to get recharged for my gifts, I have to go sit down by Lake Geneva and sit there and meditate because that's my energy source. And
Mhm.
I know that, and I've been told that. Also, same with the Rocky Mountains. I go to the Colorado and sit in the Rocky Mountains. I get the same exact feeling as if I was sitting in front of a lake in Lake Geneva. So those are my
Very
two
cool.
connections to recharge myself and to connect to a higher self. You know, a lot of people. There's a part in a movie. There's a part in a movie. I don't know if you ever guys remember Thunderheart with Val Kilmer.
Yeah, vaguely. I think I've seen it once.
Okay, there was a part on that movie where the Indian elder was talking with the FBI agent Val Kilmer, and
Mhm.
he's watching TV and he's watching this cartoon Magoo, the black and white TV, and he starts speaking in Lakota, and he said something, and um, Graham, Graham Greene was also in that movie. He said, he says Magoo needs to go to the top of the mountain and get focused, because he thinks he's crazy. And that's what a lot of the people today don't take the time to walk outside, look at everything and at the beauty of the nature of everything and
Mhm.
appreciate everything, because of the fact that everybody is so in their mundane groove that they, go to work, they come home, they eat, they go to work, they come home, it's just,
Yep.
there's people need to wake up a little bit more to the mother nature side of it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I mean, connect with the trees, connect with the water, connect with whatever, I mean, it's just, but I think a lot of the younger generation are starting to focus more on that. When you talk about the younger generation waking up, I think a lot of it has to do with them saying, they appreciate mother nature, so I think
Yep.
that's another role that the younger generation is going to try to bring back more, as in some of us old folk that think, gosh, we're in our mundane jobs and we got to do this, that,
Nope.
sometimes you just got to stop and smell the roses.
Yep.
So,
Well, the part of what's caused a lot of the problems for the planet is the era of industrialization.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
What needs to happen, and what I believe is going to start happening, is you're going to have, instead of the big, what they call factory farms,
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to go back to the local farm that takes care of the community.
I think that's a great idea. I think it should.
Yeah.
Because
that's how it was. That before the industrialization of this
right.
planet,
Mm-hmm.
that's how it was. Local farms would
kid,
take care of everything.
When I was a kid, all right, back behind Westtown Mall in Madison, on Mineral Point Road.
Yep.
If you went maybe just past the Beltline, everything past the Beltline on Mineral Point Road going out towards Middleton was nothing but farms.
Yeah.
Back when I was a kid. There was hardly anything there. Now it's all gone. All those farms are gone. Back out what is that in Middleton? That whole thing in Middleton where all those car dealerships are all in one area. Those were all farms.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about. It's right there, just
Those were all
before
farms
12 heads out of town.
Dairy farms, actually. Those were mostly cow farms back there.
Yeah, yeah. It's sad that the industrial and used to be strip malls and whatever used to come out.
Why this one stays empty over here makes a lot of sense. Nah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you got to understand too that in today's day and age, it's kind of always been that way, but it's all about money. It's all about people. I mean, money is the bottom line, that people are trying to make more money to do this, do that. And when it comes to developers and everything like that, yeah, they want to be able to put food on their table too. But, part of it is, buying out the farms or doing whatever to put down business to this thing. So it's kind of like the old thing that's, the old hash thing that's been happening for years. And it's sad that it does happen that way. And I love history and I love old farms. I love old buildings and this and that. So when I see something being torn down, it feels like a piece of me is missing.
Yep. Well, and there's where it all comes back into the circle.
Yeah.
They tore down the old railvac. That place was built in like 1848, shortly after, in Madison.
Right. And that's where it all.
And that place had a lot of history. But what do they tear it down? They tear it down. What is up there? Like some kind of high-rise apartment complex now or something, or office buildings?
Yeah.
They needed more of those, like they needed a hole in the head.
Right.
They could have left that railvac plant stay empty there and maybe have somebody, well, obviously when they tore it down, there wasn't a lot of us around back then, or, the paranormal thing wasn't, but that would have been a great place.
We had a place in Lake Geneva. We had a place in Lake Geneva, that the old train station in Lake Geneva.
Well, I worked in the railvac plant, so I know its history real well and know its little hauntings that occurred there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had that train station that was torn down in the early 80s. Nobody appreciated what it was. And there was one hotel that was right next to Lake Geneva Regional News, which is a newspaper, but that building was there specifically for after God, it was in the late 1800s, but I mean it was even earlier than that, and they tore it down and built offices, and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
I granted, you got to understand too, some of those old buildings had a lot of asbestos in them. I get it, you know what I mean,
I
but
understand that, but
there could have been a way to handle that, and
Oh, yeah.
I know why it would have been expensive, but if you really want to preserve history in any sense, then yeah, you're gonna need to find a way to do it.
yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a lot of cool old buildings in Wisconsin, all over. But I mean, I've
Mhm.
pretty much lived and grew up here, and I've seen a lot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one we ran across a really cool story once. There's a local bar here in Watertown. They were going to tear down the building, but this couple came in and bought it for like $1.
Right.
Right? And since then, they've invested over $1 million. They've kept
Holy
it.
cow.
They've kept the bar. It's an Irish bar. Yeah, it's an Irish bar.
It's an Irish bar.
It's got some activity. Um, one of the floors had what was that? That one floor.
Well, okay, it's a 3-floor building. The lower floor is the bar. The second floor they're actually renovating to turn it into a dining hall,
Yeah, but
and the third floor had a ballroom in it.
yeah, but the second floor was like one of those groups.
Oh,
Oh,
The Shriners was in there at one time.
one of those secret society groups because
The
Yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
Shriners, Joe. It was the Shriners.
oh okay.
They were in there at one
But
time.
anyway, we got to go in there and investigate on those 2 floors. They had it was under construction because they were trying to remodel. I'm sure it's going to take them time to remodel the whole
Oh
section
yeah.
of the
What did
bar.
you find? What'd you find?
Well, the bar. I'm going to get to that. The bar still looks authentic. From, I mean, they kept a lot of the decor and everything. They just kind
Hmm.
of probably rebuffed it or had it restored.
Right.
The decoration on that first floor because this building's like old, like 1700s, 1800s old.
Oh
It was
wow.
early 1800s, I believe, is when it was built.
Well, when they were telling us the story, the guy had some pictures, a file of pictures, not to mention all the pictures that he had on the wall from,
Hmm.
but there was a really old picture, and Mark zoomed in on it even better with, didn't you like use your cell phone
Well,
to
what I
zoom
did
in
is
on
I
some?
used my phone and I took a picture of the picture.
Right.
And since I have a pretty decent camera on my phone, like a 13 megapixel, I when I took the picture, I was noticing something, and when I used my phone and blew up the picture, there was an anomaly in the picture itself. Because what it
Okay.
is it's a copy of the original picture that was taken in the 1800s, and
Yeah.
you can see the curb line
Paved,
somewhat,
like gravel
but
road.
there's two dogs actually in the picture, and one of the dogs is completely see through. You can absolutely see right through it. You can see the ground through it, everything behind it.
Wow.
The other dog is half see through. It's kind of weird
Hmm.
because you can see the curb line going through the backside of the dog. I don't know what would have
Wow.
caused that picture to be like that at that point, or when it was taken, but that's kind of how that was. Then they also have other photographs that were taken in the bar and the upper areas where there was apparitions caught, and I got to see those. We got to, but when we went up and was doing an investigation, Joe's wife Tanya and I went to the upper floor where the
We're on
ballroom
the
was.
first floor.
He was on the second floor, still filming with his camera, and he didn't really catch any video evidence, but you can hear
Audio.
audio through the audio on the camera. You could hear what literally sounded like Morse code.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And that was when I heard that audio, that was the very first thing that I thought of was
Nobody
Morse
was
code.
in that building in those top 2 floors except the 3 of us.
Yep. We were the only ones in the
And I knew
upper 2
exactly where
floors.
they were. They were above me on the second, the 3rd
Yeah.
floor, and I was on that 2nd floor by myself.
And the
And that
owner,
was not the furnace or anything kicking in and making noise because
no,
it
because
Right.
was like it was knocking on wood.
yeah, it
Huh.
was really weird.
And
And
then
the owners were in the bar area down
the
below,
bar was open.
and
They were getting ready to open.
they were getting ready to open everything, so they were down there doing what they needed to do.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, it was
You got-
fairly interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, you guys should have my co-host Shane Pika on your show. He's got some great stories concerning when you talk about Morse code.
Mhm.
He went to a ship on Lake Michigan. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a museum now or something like that. And they did an investigation. And with the device that he created, he actually tapped into an old announcement on the ship that he caught a preacher giving a sermon over the intercom because there was a lightning storm on the lake that was moving that
Mhm.
way, and he caught it crystal is clear as day. I mean, it was just
Wow.
I love that story. He sent me the information. He sent me the link, but it was so big that my phone couldn't open it. But yeah, I mean he's got some pretty cool. He's a science guy, and I tell you what, he knows his stuff. He's all about numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and
he's a number cruncher.
Oh, he's got it. He created I call it the device that he created, and it's all about numbers, but it's got pretty much every paranormal piece of equipment in one board, and it's just it's phenomenal. Trust me. There's a show that we actually dedicated just to the board, and a lot of people are probably like, yeah, this is kind of different because it's not talking really about paranormal, it's talking about numbers. But if you ever want to know about the numbers in that aspect and why he does what he does, it's a good read if you can try to understand a little bit what he's saying. I mean, it's just he's got some good stories. The ship on Lake Michigan, that's one of my favorite stories. I love that story that he tells because it just gives me the willies.
Kate said maybe it's the Queen Mary.
No, this was on Lake Michigan. This because he's from Michigan, so it was right on the lake. I don't remember exactly where, but it's I would love the Queen Mary. Oh my God, that's on my bucket list. I mean, just to.
Well, you know how you were just talking about numbers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Everything in the universe, everything, all boils down to mathematics.
Yep, it does.
So it would be logical to believe that the paranormal can also boil down to mathematics.
Oh yeah. And Shane can explain that pretty well, So I'm telling you, I talked to Shane, and I give him credit. He's so smart, and sometimes it kind of makes me feel kind of dumb because he's just that one of those guys that I can learn so much from him, but it's just like, God, stuff I didn't even know.
Well,
and
I think you should be able to learn every day from somebody at least.
Oh, I agree. That's why I love having him as a co-host. I learn something all the time from him.
I mean, we know a guy. I consider him our mentor. That he's been probably the person that's been our guest more times than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's been doing
2 investigations with him now. Actually, 3, but the 2 were in one day.
Yeah.
And we consider him more of a mentor because every time we're with him or talking to this gentleman, we have learned something new. I mean, the guy is just so knowledgeable.
And that's a beautiful thing.
He's been doing this since the 70s with the paranormal. So
Yeah. I struggle with third grade math too. I'm
Yeah,
right
well,
with you.
unfortunately, when I was in 5th grade, they had me tutoring juniors and seniors in high school for their entry exam mathematics for college because when I was in 5th grade, I was in second year geometry and first year trigonometry for
Oh,
college.
no, no. I wanted to be a parapsychologist, and I was set up to do that after high school, but I couldn't get past physics.
Nah,
Yeah,
physics isn't that hard.
yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah, no, this isn't gonna work. Yeah.
But no, I was gonna say earlier too when we were talking about Mother Earth and everything. I believe that this this planet, this Earth,
Hmm.
and everything else in the universe has a type of a spirit, you know,
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah.
that has an awareness
Hmm. You
because
said it. An
the,
awareness. Yep.
yeah, an awareness, and that everything in this universe is connected
Hmm.
within that awareness.
Yeah. I think it is like everything is self-aware.
Hmm.
You know, I oh yeah, I've always felt things were like that. Trees, whatever. I mean, it's
Oh
just,
yeah.
No,
and that's not just what I feel. It's just what I see. I mean, I can look at a tree and be like,
Hmm.
that's life. That's it's a weird energy vibe that I get, but I've always been that way, and it took
Right.
me too long to figure half of this stuff out. But I look at it this way: it happened that way at that time and this time for a reason.
Yeah.
So I can't go
It's
back and say, oh, why didn't I learn it then, or why did
you weren't ready
you know,
then.
I wasn't.
right.
That's exactly right.
You
I
weren't
was
ready.
not ready. Yep, you
The,
said
the
it.
thing is, um, coincidence. I don't really believe in
No,
coincidence
there's
because
no such thing as coincidences.
coincidence takes a hell of a lot of planning.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, there is no such thing as coincidence. I caught myself the other day saying, "Oh, that's like a coincidence," and I'm like, "Oh, I just like shouldn't have said that," because it was just so normal to say that's like a coincidence. And then the little voice in my head said, "Remember, there's no such thing as coincidences." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I
No,
I love
forgot."
that little voice in your head.
Yeah,
everything,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of felt kind of dumb after
everything
that,
happens. Everything does happen for a
for
reason.
a reason. I do
I do
believe that.
believe that there are
Right.
guiding
Yep.
forces in our universe,
Yep. But
in our world, in our lives.
right. But we all have free will, free
Yes, we
choice.
do. We
So,
all have that choice. We all have
and
that free will.
it goes back to numbers. We
Hmm.
can make infinite infinite choices on just one thing.
Hmm.
And I believe that. I mean, so whatever you choose is the path that you're going down. Can't go back and change it. You can't, you know, you can deviate yourself a couple different times, but you're ultimately going to choose something.
Yep.
We're always choosing. So, and universe is kind to that fact, that I know that universe is kind to that fact that when we make different choices, or that we struggle with choices or whatever, it's always has been up to us
Yeah.
to make
Oh
that
yeah.
choice.
And you gotta deal with the consequences of that choice.
Right.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people are afraid to make those
Deal with those
choices because
consequences.
they don't want to deal with the
Well, they don't want
consequences.
to take the risk.
Right.
No,
They don't
they
want to
don't.
take the risk.
They're
Right.
involved.
Right.
You
That's why the smarter people are out here going and trying to figure out the assessments before they
Right.
make their decisions. And it's like,
Right.
And
sometimes you
then by
just
the
gotta
time they
just
get done, now it's
do
too
it.
late.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
The opportunity.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There are times, seriously, whenever things come about, you just need to do it.
Right.
Not
Right.
think so hard on it because once you
Right.
do, the opportunity might actually pass you by.
You need to
Yeah.
trust.
And you know what? Saying that, I just needed to hear that, because I've been struggling with something a little bit as of late, and that's like, you're like the third person that said that in the last 2 weeks that I've heard almost the exact same statement. So yes, and I've heard it from my guides, and I've heard it from two other
It's a
people.
coincidence, Jay.
Yeah, bullshit. Yeah. So it's just, and it's kind of funny because I said something to another medium today. I was talking to her on text, and I said something's gonna give tonight. I don't know exactly what it is, but something's gonna give, and it's gonna click, and then bingo, this clicked, and then I knew, and I'm like, oh. So I kind of like the validation of certain things, but you can validate it to the cows come home, and if you don't believe it, you're not going to make it happen.
Exactly.
If you don't have enough faith in yourself to make things happen, to manifest these things to happen, it's not going to happen. So, like you said, you got to just do it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
there are times where things will come about that
Yep.
if you psychoanalyze it until your face turns blue from it,
yeah, pretty much.
You're going to wind up losing that opportunity at some point.
Right.
Where there are some things that just, when they feel right, quit
When they feel right,
psychoanalyzing them. Quit trying to analyze it.
It doesn't
just
help.
do it. Just go. Just run with it.
Well, see, it's that fear of taking the risk is what makes you analyze everything.
It does.
Exactly.
Well, and also it also comes with the fear of failure too. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That fear is what's holding people back in some cases.
Right.
It's the fear of failure, the fear of looking bad.
Yep.
And then the fear that goes with, okay, what if it doesn't work? Then you got all the other things that's added with the failure that you stand to possibly lose or whatever.
Right.
You sit there and think about it too much, and
it's going to consume you.
Yeah. Well, it's like people that sit there and dwell on their past and think of what ifs. What if I did this? What if
I'm guilty.
That?
So am
I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
I did it for the longest time. I don't do it no more. Okay.
Yeah, I don't do it as much as I used to.
Okay, but the thing is, that'll consume you to a point where, it'll put you in like a standstill position. It just puts you in pause because you sit there and dwell on the past. You get into depression state or something possibly, and you're not accomplishing anything anymore.
Right. Oh yeah, you're on a standstill.
Right.
You are. I watched the movie. This is where my guides and I get these little glimpses of what I need to do and this and that. I was like, everybody, you've probably seen that movie, The Legend of Bagger Vance.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's a pretty cool one.
I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was like kind of feeling down, and I kind of want to watch it. But the one thing I got from that movie that I've seen probably several different times was you have to just get out of your way. When you stand in your own way of doing things, you just need to get the hell out of the way and do it.
Yep.
Because you're just like you're your own worst critic.
You're your own worst.
You're standing in front of yourself and you're blocking the way. Just get out of the way.
Yep.
And just go.
And unfortunately, there are going to be times in everybody's life where they have to make that attempt and fail. Because that's the only way you're going to learn how to do it right the next time.
I mean, that's true.
I mean, you have to have a certain amount of failures in life.
If I didn't take that chance back in the day, okay, I did learn a lot from it. The first thing was, I jumped in a little too quick without doing a little too much research, or I should have done a little bit more research than I did. But I started my own business. I did it. And I was succeeding. I was doing good. I had a video rental store, and arcade back in the day when it was booming. Okay. It was a little mom and pop store in a prime location.
Right.
I had it all set up. 3 months later, Blockbuster Video moves in down the block, about 3 blocks away. Can't compete with a multi-billion-dollar chain.
Right.
Not back then, not when everything on VHS, dealer cost for a movie averaged $65 for one copy.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That same movie cost Blockbuster about 20.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because of the volume they
Well,
could buy
yeah, they
at.
bought in bulk. The
Right.
more you bought, the cheaper things got when it came to those movies.
So let me ask you that. Let me ask you, what made you ultimately decide to take that plunge to do that?
I got tired of working for other people.
Okay.
I started out. What happened was I started out working in video stores. Okay, I worked
Right.
in a very popular small chain in Madison. It was just a local thing. I started out as a peon, worked my way up to an assistant manager. Then they were opening up more stores. I got passed over for my own store, so I didn't get to become manager
Right.
because they hired some girls from the outside. And oh wow, no experience, nothing running the video stores. We're gonna make them managers right away.
Right. That's usually how it works with a lot of businesses
So
now,
so I went to this
unfortunately.
other video store that was opening up, brand new video store. They had a for help sign, help wanted sign on the door. Went in there and I became manager of that store for about a year. And then he got on my nerves, the guy that owned the place. Well, he didn't wanna spend the money that needed to be spent to make some money, when it came to ordering movies and stuff. He wasn't listening to my recommendations. I was supposed to have full control of the store because he just wanted to do repair. So I quit. And it was about 4 or 5 years later, the opportunity came around. That same owner wanted just to sell off the whole video store aspect of it, full turnkey operation, right? And damn, I bought it, you know. And then I opened up a store in a new location because that was the condition. I had to move it, and I moved it. And then I didn't know anything about Blockbuster.
Right.
I
Right.
lost everything because once they came in, there was no way a small mom and pop store. I wasn't even open a year when they showed up.
Well, now look at where they're at.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One Blockbuster left though.
Well, the most video stores are gone because of
Yeah.
the fact that you get the streaming services now, and you got
Right. Right.
you know digital. You can just go on digital rentals and do it that
Right.
way.
Yeah. It's crazy how things change. I'm all about change.
Yeah.
I have a very short attention span,
Me too.
and that's just the way I've always been. And my wife is terrified. I'm like, "Dude, you don't have to worry about that. That's we're good with on that side. But yeah, attention span, especially with anything, come with work or come with
I just get bored.
even the paranormal. Even if I'm on a paranormal investigation, yeah, I have terrible patient issues. I mean seriously. I mean it's kind of like, yeah, this is boring or this is this. I just have to, like I said before, get out of my way and just go ahead and
Yeah.
do it. You know what I
Get out
mean?
of your own
So
way.
yeah, it's really amazing. Like, I mean, I've heard this now for the last 2 weeks. If somebody could say, just get the fuck out of the way, it's just, but yeah,
No,
so
just
got
do
to
what
do it.
you
Yeah,
you
I
do
gotta,
what you got to do. That's the whole thing.
And Joe, thanks for sharing that story too, because I just wanted to know how you know, kind of did that and kind of how you dealt with that, because eventually, yeah, I want to be my own boss on a lot of different things. You know what I
Well,
mean? So,
see,
but
I was raised. My father was kind of an alcoholic. Well, not kind of. He was. But he was instant asshole at alcohol. But the one things that I did learn from him and I got was these good old fashioned morals growing up,
right, right,
a good work ethic. But
right.
my dad owned his own business several times, okay, in his lifetime. He was always trying to be his own boss. And
Hmm.
once I got a taste of it once when I was young, I didn't want to give that feeling up.
Right,
You know,
right.
I ended up working hard enough that if I went to a place, see, I tried to become a cop at a young age. I went to MATC right out of high school, and I was taking police science. I got into a car accident. It almost killed me, and I ended up having the choice to make, trying to catch up or start over or become a desk jockey. And I didn't want to become a desk jockey or a pencil pusher, you know.
Right.
So I went into the security and private investigative field, and every time I got a job, I ended up in some kind of supervisor position. So I was on-site supervisor of Railvac for the longest time, and when I ended up quitting, Pinkerton lost the account
Oh wow.
because they couldn't get nothing but morons in there after that.
Is Pinkerton still around?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I would believe so because they are the oldest law enforcement
Yeah,
company
I
in
was
the
gonna
world.
say.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have
that
a
one.
I have a plaque still up in my wall from 1991 from
Right,
when I was got officer of the month because did some outstanding things above and beyond the call of duty.
right.
You know, I was part of
God,
it was, what was it, about 30, 25. They just had the 25th anniversary last year, I think it was, that I saw it on Facebook, or was it this year? Of the central storage warehouse fire that happened in Madison. It was a big, huge news event. It was a warehouse that sits on Cottage Grove Road. It burned down because of something faulty with the forklifts caused the fire, but it caused a river of butter, government cheese, and hot dogs to flow down into the, you know how off ramps have that kind of like
mm-hmm.
area where there's like a kind of like where you could build a lake if it ran, you
Right.
know, rained too
And
much.
it's the runoff ponds.
The
Yeah.
runoff ponds. Yeah.
Well, this created a river right down into that, and it stunk in that area for like 5+ years after
Wow.
the fact. You know, I had to burn my uniform. I couldn't shampoo the stench out of my car,
Oh wow.
you know, but I worked that fire on top of my supervisor duties at Railvac and helping out at the guard shacks at Menards at the time.
Well.
And because I did that, I was nominated Officer of the Month because
Well.
I worked 72 hours without sleep.
Yeah. Wow. That's
So,
crazy.
but all of that private investigator and security duties makes me, you know, a good fit for this paranormal thing because I'm aware of my surroundings constantly,
Right.
you know,
So it was no coincidence that you kind of got into this.
and I kind of got like the investigative background and all of
No?
this, you know, and the psychology background because I took psychology courses and stuff when I was,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I was required as a police science, you know, down
No,
in
I think I actually found it written down somewhere, like chiseled into the stone from his time and everything that he was supposed to do that.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
I told you I'm a vampire. I'm gonna live forever.
I always got to give him crap.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah, that's
Well, anyway, Jay,
it
looks like we're going over a little bit. So,
Oh, that's okay.
is there
Yeah, it was
anything?
fun.
Is there anything you want to add? Let us know what's coming up or anything like that.
Like I said, well, this Sunday I've got Amanda Quill from Cold Spotters Paranormal. It's going to be a good show at 6 o'clock Sunday night, Central Time.
And that's your
Next
big
week.
announcement, isn't it?
Nope. My big announcement's going to be for next week.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling it after the show.
He's gonna tell his big announcement after his podcast. So just stop trying to pull it out of him.
after my podcast, yes. And then so then I have that, and I possibly do have an investigation with my friend and camera guy Josh Hughes in Beaver Dam on the 4th or 3rd or 4th. It's an old funeral home
Cool.
that was just recently sold, and this lady contacted me and asked me if I would come out there and investigate. So yeah, so it'll be nice to get out back on the field to do that. I'm looking forward to that, and then just getting ready for the holidays. You know, I mean,
Oh,
Christmas
God,
is
yes.
coming up, and you know,
Yeah, that's too much. That's too much.
pretty much, yeah. I mean, I'm not ready for Christmas by any means. I
I'm
mean,
not
I
either.
just, I'm not even ready for Thanksgiving except for the time
Me
off.
neither.
But
I
you
really
know,
don't celebrate Christmas anymore because I feel
I'm
it's too
going over to his house
commercialized.
for Thanksgiving. He's cooking for me.
yeah,
Mark's gonna cook a good turkey and some mashed potatoes and all that good stuff that you have on
nice,
Thanksgiving stuff. And yeah, he's done it the last few years. Well, I've been
awesome.
going over there since my mom passed away, actually.
Well,
Oh, okay.
I know that he likes my cooking, so pretty much
Well,
everybody likes my cooking.
that's a good thing. That's a
He's not
very
too
good
much
thing.
of a bad cook. I
Yeah.
give him a little credit. I'll give him E for effort.
Whatever.
Hey, we do got to come we do got to go his way. We got to check out that mansion or that
Yeah,
place
Maxwell
you drove
Mansion.
from.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they've got two bars. They got a speakeasy in the basement, and they've got a apothecary on the first floor.
That's right up my alley. I love history of the mafia, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that the way they modeled it as a speakeasy was pretty cool. I know the person that did that too, and yeah, the history of that place is the oldest building in Lake Geneva, 1856. So
Oh, sweet.
yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah, it's
I looked it up a little bit when I saw that he does his podcast from there.
yeah, yeah. It was. Let me tell you, it's like I said, it's been a blessing. It's been fun. It's been the people
Yeah,
there are great. So
it's fun doing the
yeah,
podcast too. You get to meet a lot of interesting people.
I
Yeah.
do. Yeah, I mean it's been crazy cool because I get to meet so many awesome people and
Do
just
do you use StreamYard?
yes, I
So,
only use StreamYard.
yeah, because then you get to have all these guests from all over the world.
Yep.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. I love StreamYard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did one from
It was a blessing in disguise.
London. I did an afternoon show in the summer. Mark Kenny from West London Paranormal, and when he was in London. So yeah, that was cool, you know.
Yep.
And
We had a couple of guests out of the UK, some out of Canada.
yeah,
Yep.
True
yeah,
North Paranormal out of Canada.
yeah, those guys were cool. Yeah,
Oh yeah. I love being able to, I mean, to be able to do that and talk to these other people. We've talked
yep.
to Dr. Christy Sumner out of Florida. We got to
Mm-hmm.
talk about the Ma Barker house,
Oh, nice.
Miranda Young, and all the stories she told. I can't remember the name of that jail where she spent the night in the solitary confinement
St.
cell.
Augustine, is that where it is?
I think it would have been up and around Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
It's a bigger prison up in that area.
Pretty
Okay.
popular.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
heard of it before. I just can't.
Thanks, Joe. Now I'm.
Yeah, you're drawing a blank.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
so that's basically that's all I pretty much have going on in the next couple months. I hope to have a speaking event
we got to get
in
down and check out
San
that man.
Antonio, Texas next March.
Oh, cool.
At a convention. So yeah, I got some things in the work. 2022 is going to be a big year for me. So
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big year for us too.
Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I know that the Milwaukee Paracon, whenever that's going on,
Paranormal Conference, we're supposed to go live from that show.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
we're supposed to be broadcasting live from there.
Pete Frulos asked us to start doing our show live every year.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
And Mike Huberty from
Yeah.
American Ghost Walks and Sunspot is also the sponsor of that. So they agreed to all of that. So that's cool. And we're thinking about having a table there this next year in 2022.
Awesome.
This year.
So real quick. When you guys do like you do an investigation, one of my theories is I want to be able to do my show being in a spirited location like the mansion. I would also like to do an investigation or do a show with somebody who's at a haunted location. So if you guys are ever able to do that, let me know.
We
Yeah,
haven't
we're
put out
kind of
anything
looking
live
into
yet from our
yeah.
locations, but we are working on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're working on figuring out how we can actually broadcast live.
We wanted
Yeah.
to really go live when we were out there at Farrar School in Iowa.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In
Yeah.
Maxwell,
Oh
Iowa.
yeah.
We were out
That
there
place
with
was
Dale
crazy.
Kazmarek.
Yeah.
We were out there with Dale Kazmarek and his crew, and we got some unbelievable activity out there.
Jane Feek, my co-host, was out there and got some amazing stuff. So
Yeah, and I had 5 pieces of equipment subsequently fail on me.
Yeah, I think that was funny.
And it's
Yeah.
my fault. It is my
Lesson that
fault.
night.
It is my fault
I
because
learned a valuable lesson that weekend.
in the boiler room area, there was
Never
something in there, and I went in there
Yeah.
and I actually provoked it.
like an idiot.
See, naughty,
No,
naughty.
I'm not an idiot. I do it. I did it because I knew it would razz it up and we get activity.
But see, I learned a valuable lesson when we plan trips like this, not to listen to that fuck anymore.
What do you mean not to listen to me?
Well, we'll play it by ear, when it comes to getting a hotel. Oh,
I
okay.
did not say that. I did not
We
say that.
could not find a hotel for 100 and
No, Joe.
radius.
I did not say that.
They were all booked.
I knew that we should have booked.
Competitions along
So
the
don't even
Mississippi
start trying to
River
blame
and
me.
See, I could tell why you guys are friends. I mean, you guys got this great communication thing going on. So
Well, the first day before Mark even met me, okay, he got blamed for a practical joke that I pulled on my own brother. Okay. We worked at him and my brother were Mark and my brother were already working at Union Cab in Madison. They were
And we were friends.
and they were friends and they were transit drivers. Okay. I had just gotten off of being on the leukemia treatments and bullshit, and I tried to go back to work as security and I couldn't do it. So I decided to do something I swore I was never going to do because I didn't want to follow in my father's footsteps and drive for a living. But I went in and I applied for a job and I started as a cab driver. So I put one of these joke-like parking tickets, and the bottom line, basically what it says, that if you park like you fuck, it's a wonder you can get it in. And I put it on my brother's car. Okay. And I had a new car, not a brand new one, but new to me. Okay. So he didn't recognize my car or see it in the parking lot. So he didn't know I had started work and he had forgot. So he was going around the whole company blaming everybody else. And then when he got to Mark must have laughed or giggled or something because he saw the ticket. And Dwayne just kept blaming him and swore up and down that Mark did it until I walked in and he saw me in the driver's room.
Huh.
Then he knew that it was me that did it to him. So before I even met Mark, I got him in trouble.
nice going. All right, guys.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for coming
thank you.
on, Jay.
This was a lot of fun. Yeah.
You're
So
welcome
whenever you
to come
guys,
back anytime.
anytime you guys want to just chit chat or whatever, hit me up. I'll be here.
We'll have to get down your way and get together and meet you in person one of these days soon.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Maybe see about doing an investigation down there too.
Yeah, most definitely. Sounds like a plan. So
And
thanks everybody.
And just for everybody else, next week we have Janet Ramsey and crew on Tuesday. So that'll be a good show to look forward to as well. So we'll be back Tuesday with Janet Ramsey and crew. And I don't think there's anything else. You got anything else to add, Mark?
No.
No?
No.
All right.
All right.
Stay safe, everybody.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a safe night.
You.
Stay safe and remember, anything's possible.